Hello everybody and welcome back to another Sunday in the Yard and Gardens. Today, well, we're starting off hiding in the chicken pen, and I killed a woolly sock today. It was already pretty holy, but I cut the end of it off. I put it over the mic on this stupid old camera of mine. Hopefully it will muffle the wind a little bit without, well, taking away my voice too terrible much, because there are a few things that I want to show you going on outside in the yard. I have some very cold stressed tomatoes that are doing surprisingly well, and yeah, very much worth showing in this Sunday full garden report. So I hope this sock helps with the wind noise. Here we go. Thinking of the chicken run though, it's coming along pretty well. Still got to get that door on there. Finish a couple things inside the long shed, put my toys away, nothing new there. My little bit of a brand new raised bed garden. I already got some onions growing in there because I found them growing in the compost, so I figure no harm, no foul. They were already there, why not leave them growing? Thanks to all these leaves falling down. Looks like it's been here forever. I raked this whole area up yesterday. It was beautiful, it was pristine. Oh well. I'll rake it up again later on today. We'll pile it on here. Never did get my garlic planted. Starting to wonder if it's too late, but I might just go grab a bulb from the store anyway. Or not a bulb, a sleeve. It's like $1.50. You get 3 different full bulbs of garlic. So I'll break one bulb for that row, one bulb for that row, and one bulb for that row, and we'll just see what happens in the spring, right? Be interesting. Actually, here we go. I was talking about cold stressed tomatoes. This is one of the miniature varieties that we're growing here in the little garden. And nothing's cracked yet, nothing's frozen. The plant is still surprisingly vibrant. I am impressed, and we even got one ripening up down here, so I'll take that one in today. Very curious though, this is one of the ones that I'm leaving just for, well, science, really. See how long it can go. I've already cut down everything else in this bed in early prep stages for garlic. Like I said, we'll see how that works. Those walking onions seem to do well out here, so maybe garlic will do well. I don't know. Toss some of the chipped up corn stalks on here. I'll put some of the leaves and such on here for the winter. I might even put a thin layer of that compost on here. Not much, just a little bit. And it'll be screened first because, you know, safety first. I think the plan is still to try and put some potatoes in this as soon as possible in the spring. Would like to really add to our weight harvested. I think potatoes are going to be a good way to do that. There's one little acorn squash, all right? Suffering for science, still growing. I thought in that first cold snap all of these leaves had died off, but they didn't die, they just really kind of paled. So I guess acorn squash at least is a little stronger than I gave it credit for. I'm glad I didn't cut this off. It's kind of interesting, you know. As soon as you admit that you don't know everything, you're open to so much more learning opportunity, right? Got up the bunker garden here. Try and block a little bit of the wind with my body. We'll go this way. Shocks and I harvested pretty much everything that was ready at the time. And yet, look at this thing just grow on. Now, somebody suggested that these might be doing so well because of everything decomposing down in the bottom of the bunker. I think that's a fascinating theory, and I'd have to say there's probably something to that, because these are the north wall blocking the wind from the rest of the garden, and yet, even though they're taking the most of the wind, they're the nicest looking maters still in the garden. It's weird. Got something growing back here in the new berry area. It's kind of volunteered itself in the walking onion beds. I'd like to know if anybody knows what this is. We can see the good look at the proper leaf color, the fall leaf color, the shape of the berry. If this is an edible thing, great. If not, I'd love to get rid of it. So some of you more experienced individuals, maybe Brother Troll, you got any ideas for me on this one, buddy? Seems to really want to do well. There are a few of them that have sprouted up. There's at least one nice base here, so if it's edible, great. If it's not, yeah, it needs to go. Now these gojis, these do not look happy, but we'll see come spring, you know, really I don't think this particular hawthorn berry made it. This one, maybe it had a little bit of side root. That green there is a lie. It's actually attached to the tree above it. Still need to get those raspberries in here. Don't know if I'm going to have time, though. Cherry tree I bought last year never did produce any fruit for us. It started to, but they didn't make it, so such is life. The tree itself is doing fantastic, though. Very excited, coming along quite nicely. The chaos bed is just that. Check this out. Never got around to moving the eggplant inside, well, yet. And it's still alive and kicking. So at this point, if I take it inside, that's got to be, it'll think of that as a very good thing and maybe just thrive. Who knows? Wouldn't that be great? The little way too late beet garden here. Haven't pulled these guys up. I'm waiting for basically the first frosty night or that first bit of snow. And then I'm going to pull these little tiny rows. Gonna have some microgreens from some salads, and most of them will undoubtedly be fed to the fish. I don't mind though, no big deal. These shard seeds, I'm still waiting on them to kind of develop, but it looks like I'm gonna snip them and dry them downstairs, and we'll see. We shall see. I mean, I've still got a ton left from 2012, but still. New is always better for seeds. Newer seeds generally sprout better. Out in the remnants of the tomato grove, we've got a lemon boy here. Very sturdy, hasn't like cracked or exploded or anything. Still got a surprising amount of color in the leaves, although things are taking more of a purple tint. So that's kind of interesting. Got a few indigo rose here that were left on because they were just way too early. Some of them look okay. This one here, well, that's a little cracked. That one looks okay. Too bad about that one. Flick that off. So these are doing better with the cold than I had anticipated. And really, I'm not seeing a lot of ruptured fruit in the ones that are still out here. It's one of the sweet Juliets. Not doing terribly bad. Very cold, and yet still living. So there is something to that, I think. It's another tomato that's definitely taken on some purple, but she's got some hangers on her still. Nothing's cracked, nothing's exploded. I mean, nothing's really growing, right? But at the same time, I don't think I need to be quite as worried about that first frost of the season, or the first threatened frost of the season. It does look like the rhubarb's done for the year, though. Probably going to pillage those rocks for around the chicken coop. Alright, so hopefully this dead woolly sock is doing a good bit towards muffling the mic on this. I don't know. I'll find out in the edit. Let's go inside where it's warmer and not windy. Stop briefly on our way through, check out the windowsill plants. Mint, doing much better since I just kind of clear cut it and let it come back. This basil is so beyond dead, and yet I let it grow. The Bad Brains pepper, really enjoying life up here. So I brought up the Ahi Fantasy. Now that there's a little bit of room, parsley seems to be growing on. Look at that Reaper. That is doing so nicely. I hope this is in fact a proper Reaper. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm terrified to try the darn thing, if it is, but, you know, yeah, at least I can say I've tried it then. Anywho, let's check out what's growing on downstairs. Alright, welcome back down into the dungeon where hopefully the sound will be a little more consistent. Like I said, I won't know until the edit about how that sock worked, but hopefully it's working well. Let's start on the houseplant shelf, work our way around the room, shall we? I think the most noticeable and mentionable thing on this shelf is probably the pitcher plant. I just love how plasticky the healthy growth looks on here. And nice pitcher there. This sucker is a monster. Finally open there. Accidentally smacked that and turned it upside down, spilled some water out of it. Haven't watered into it. So I guess it is true that these generate moisture inside the pitchers up through the plants, and it's some kind of funky sap. Looks like we might have another one forming there. That's cool. Kind of want to look down into one of these things to see if I can see any bugs in there, but at the same time I don't want to spill anything because Just let it do its thing. It seems really happy and I don't want to mess with that. Lemon tree here. Could probably use a spin. A lot of new growth though. Look at that. Some nice shoots there. Nice shoot there. About time to shake some leaves off of it. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Anyway, I got yet another mint cutting down here. Seems to have rooted. What a surprise. Got yet another spider plant down here. There's Pepperface Peperomia, though I don't think it's coming back from wherever I sent it. This bottom leaf seems healthy. This top leaf is just dying off. I mean, there you go. Oh. That's kind of sad. Anyway, so from death to new life, we're here. I have some seeds that Punky sent me in here for hopefully, you know, something pretty close to a Naga Viper. We shall see. I figured since the random pepperlings that came up from the compost did so well, I sifted me some of that compost, put it in here, put some seeds on there, put some more of it on there. Got a humidome. I don't know, might work. Thinking of the pepperlings from the compost, we've lost 2 so far, but here in the loaf pan I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's fine. And that still leaves us, what, 2 of 18 leaves us 16. And that's a twofer, so 17. Be nice. Nothing else seems to be sprouting, so I'll take what I can get. I'm hoping the fact that there's some variation in the seed leaves means that we're going to be looking at some variation in the pepper types, but logically they're all probably basically the same pepper. So yes, I'd like to get some variation sprouting, please. Let's slide over to the Funky Light and the aquaponics here and transition. Look how well the sage is doing, eh? That is beautiful. Time to cut it back a little bit, force it to bush out. Really quite pleased with how well this is doing since the ahi pennant came out of here. I've shoved some rosemary in here because I'm just going to keep on trying to root that sucker. It's worth it. They're so slow to go from seeds. I'll just keep on rooting until I go blue in the face, as it were. The rooted cutting seems to finally be taking off. Some more oregano. Again, it's just easier to deal with rooting it. This mint seems to be taking off, doing just fine. Soon it will look like that mint there, which I recently harvested a corner, so there's a reason it looks kind of barren. Apparently I need to harvest off the back there though. Jeepers. Whew, surprise, surprise. Got the 2 different basils. It's standard sweet basil here. Got a lot of new growth up at the base. Some very bushy growth at the top here. I should probably cut those off and maybe just snip it here, let the new stuff grow up. Got the dark opal basil here going to flower. Again, they're so pretty, especially in this funky light, but my camera is doing it no justice. And some more rooted mint cuttings over there. Hand down, check out the fish for a minute. Happy little fish. Your tank is particularly full at the moment. I just emptied the dehumidifier into there. Seems to have pulled out roughly 5 gallons of water in the last 3 days, so that's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting indeed. Drying up a bunch of carrot tops here because dried, the fish seem to really go for these. Works for me. Attempting to dry some corn this way because I saw it in several old movies and I'm hoping that means it's just how it used to be done. It is kind of interesting to watch the kernels separate. I think it might actually be working. Seems pretty straightforward and basic, but then again it's old-fashioned food preservation. How complicated would it really have been, you know? Yeah, I got lots more carrot tops hanging in the rafters there, but looky here. I am still surprised, pleasantly surprised, that I have no full-on deaths this year yet. I think the fact that everything has drainage is making a huge difference. That almost looks like new flower there. Oh, I was going to say I still haven't lost these pods, but that one fell. What about this one? Oh, that one's still on there. Go little pod. Right on. So that Nepalese bell from like 16, still kicking it somehow. It's pretty impressive. So one of the Nodder Red Demons, got some nice color on there. Let me see if they can get any darker. Actually leave it for a change because these little tiny leaves are getting just that little bit bigger. We still got a lot of fall off for these older ones. Totally expecting that. Not worried about it. Super pleased though with the new growth and the apparent vibrancy. Is that the right word? Of the plant. Looking down here at the hot lemon, this thing looked so trashed, right? Last week and even in the pepper update during the week. But look at the leaves. The leaves are doing better. Lots of new growth. Shake it, see if we lose any pods. Everybody's still attached. I mean, that's pretty positive to me. The I'm in No Rush Peach. Few leaves falling off. Nowhere near as many as I would have expected. Got these two newer pods that I left on there. I took the older one off because we needed it for salsa. So, it is what it is. The El Oro de Ecuador. Probably shouldn't be leaning on whatever that is. But I've harvested quite a few peppers off of here. They are generally staying much smaller. But that's, you know, the difference natural sunlight makes. When this plant is out in the natural sun, the peppers are nice, large, robust even. Beautiful peppers. But as long as it lives, and again I'm seeing new growth, new leaves, then I'm a happy guy because it's ready to go as soon as I put it outside. Here's the Ahi Ahuchapan. You know, got a few things that are falling off here. Got a few things that aren't. Look at that. Awesome. There's a few peppers left on here. I'm still hoping to let them take a little bit of color before I take them upstairs. This is the MOA Scotch Bonnet. Still got lots and lots of flower starts in there. These are all the original leaves. Excuse me. These are all the original leaves. So I'm getting a little bit nervous. But at the same time, I'm excited because it hasn't died. They haven't fallen off. Everything seems to be almost suspiciously okay. So cool. In 2016 Sand Dollar, got lots and lots of little pods on there. And lots of little fresh growth. Maybe even, that's a very solid flower. That's a solid flower. That's a solid flower. That one wasn't. Alright, well, you know, you can't win them all. Can't win them all. Yellow scorpion down there. Time to pick down its dandelions and feed them to the goldfish, but got an actual red demon pepper on there. Let me change my angle so we can get closer to that. Very cute little pepper, this one. Still, as dead as this plant looks, we've got tiny little leaves, fresh growth, getting prepped for life in the basement. I would like to sturdy it up a little bit. It'd be nice if it was growing upright, you know, but here's that super sturdy one from outside. Not quite as super sturdy as maybe it was, because it's not even still as vibrant as the Scotch Bonnet over there, but still alive. We'll see what comes of that. I've yet to see a pepper off that. I'd like to see what it was. The Mouse Melon is still alive. It's got little flowers on it. Oh, that one came off. Some of them are staying on there though. Knocked a few of them around. We've got new growth coming up here. New growth trying to attack that pepper there, so I'll have to move it, but yeah, this thing is still alive and growing. So I might be able to keep this thing going all winter. That would be fantastic. Here's the other end tomato from the new garden that Shocks and I built this year, the one we started our whole adventure with. Today, got some tomatoes on there. A few tomatoes in there. Seems to be doing quite well. Bushy little beast, but you know, great, right? This is the paper lantern I was so worried about. We've got The new indoor leaves. Forming, not falling. Keeping a lot of those pods on there. I'm pretty excited. Now this is the one that I've had the most evident aphid situation popping up on. So I am down here killing on a pretty regular basis. But I've also picked it up and shaken it over the fish tank a few times because I can. So yes. Like I say, anything I spray on here though, it's going to be basically just water or water with some Epsom salts in it. So we shall see. I don't want to plug up the pores of the leaves. Looks like this is going to be our fight this year though, so let's move you away a little bit from everybody else. You're still getting light, but harder for the aphids to transfer. Yeah, yes. Well, I guess I need to pick that up and shake it over the fish tank. The goldfish do love their little protein treats though, so it's a win-win situation because I enjoy killing the aphids too. So yeah, that is what it is. Probably something dark and disturbing and all of that, but really, after all of the pepper plants that they've taken down on me, I'm due. It's all good. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up for today. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for another week and another longer kind of update on what's growing on around here. I will get this edited and up to you as quick as I can, and I will see you on Tuesday. Take care, everybody.